Alright, here we are, doing our very first walkthrough of Resident Evil Director's Cut. As can be purchased on the PlayStation Network via a PSP, or in this case, a PlayStation 3. Now, Resident Evil, one of the most important choices you're going to make in this game is going to be which character you want to choose. First we have Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is a little bit stronger than the second choice, Jill Valentine. Chris cannot carry as many items as Jill, but he does happen to have a little bit more health, just a tad bit tougher. However, if you are Jill, you will be able to carry 2 more items, and you will have the assistance of another STARS member named Barry, who periodically throughout the game will give you a little bit of assistance. So, recommending Jill Valentine if you are new, but if you really like Chris, you want to go with Chris. But since we are targeting toward newer players or people looking for a little bit of assistance, we'll start with Jill Valentine. Note that this will dramatically change the effect of the game if you are following this walkthrough and being Chris Redfield. But hopefully I'll keep you updated if you choose Chris. Now we hit Jill. Interesting tidbit about Resident Evil is that it was based off of American zombie movies. So it was created with a very movie-like style with live action cutscenes as you're about to witness now.
Searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo team who disappeared during the middle of our mission. No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Now, we could continue to watch this entire video, but the fact is, we have copyright issues, and, well, you should just purchase the game because you won't be disappointed. Moving on.
What is this? Wow. What a mansion!
Resident Evil, known for its very well voice acting.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
What is it? Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go? I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know. Okay, let me handle this. Stay alert.
Now, you will notice a major difference here in the gameplay. Jill will be lucky enough to start out with a handgun and have the assistance of Barry. Unfortunately, if you chose to be Chris, you will not get that advantage. So you will have to get used to playing with just a knife, for at least a little bit.
What is this?
But as far as it goes, just sort of follow Jill here, even if you're Chris. You're going to have to follow these same paths anyway. The story's going to be a little bit different as far as the reactions and the things that they say. But this first encounter here will be roughly the same. Now, it's not really important to examine anything in that room. You can, but it's not going to do anything for the story. Now, here's going to be really the most important encounter in this game, because this is what starts all of Resident Evil, the series, off, the first zombie. And really, this scene is very famous, and just enjoy it. for its vintage sake. Now, you could stay and fight if you're Jill, but if you're Chris, just run away, because unless you're really experienced, you're going to have a lot of trouble fighting with a knife. There's no real advantage to killing that zombie right this second. Maybe later, I believe you'll be able to get a clip off of the damaged person.
What is it?
Watch out! It's a monster!
Of course, you're lucky too, because if you're Jill, Barry's going to kill him for you. However, if you're Chris, you will not get that assistance.
What is it?
Kenneth was killed too. Maybe by this creature. Anyway, let's report this to Wesker.
Okay, now here's one thing you're going to notice. Right there, there's a wooden emblem. You can take that right now if you want to take it, but you really don't have to take it just this second. This is going to come in importance a little bit later in the game, because you will most likely need that to help with your encounter in the first boss, which is a gigantic snake monster.
Wesker! Help me look for him, Jill. And don't leave this hall for the time being.
Now, Barry has instructed us to look for Wesker without the ability to leave the hall. So, here's a good time to explore a little bit, see what's going on, get a little bit familiar with the game. As you can see, I'm having a little fun here running around.
Find anything, Jill?
Eventually, if you run around enough, this will
What is
happen.
this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
They're wondering what happened to their boss, Wesker, who will,
I don't know what's
you will
going
later
on.
be revealed to you that perhaps he is behind some shady activity at this mansion.
Dining room again.
Okay, I'll try the door on the opposite side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could get into trouble if we get lost. We should start from the first floor, okay? And Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Alright, that was a very important note that just happened right there. See, if you chose Chris Redfield, in a lot of ways you hurt yourself pretty badly, because Chris Redfield has to go around searching for small keys throughout the entire game, and they're not necessarily hard to find, it's just he has limited space capability, and you have to make sure that you have those keys on you if you want to get through certain doors. However, Barry, our great hero Barry, hooks Jill up by giving her a lock pick. Now, the lock pick is pretty essential because the lock pick allows her to get into drawers and different doors with simple locks on it. So this is going to make the game 10 times easier. Now, what you just saw me do right now was over here on this desktop right here, you have two important items. The first is what's going to be known as the ink ribbon, which allows you to use the typewriter. You use the typewriter and the ink ribbon to save your game. What this does is it continues the classic movie-like feel without really interrupting the game. It makes very convenient, scenic save points. In order to save your game, which is what we're going to do right now, you just have to start by going up to the typewriter, having an ink ribbon with you at the time is very important, clicking yes, and then saving your game. And that's going to be it for the first 10-minute video walkthrough of Resident Evil. Director's Cut.